fmtraining.tv. My name is Margaret. I'll be your broadcast engineer for today. I'm here with the wonderful Nick Hunter. Hello, Nick. How you doing?
Well, hello, I'm doing good, thank you.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. Hope y'all are doing lovely. Nick doesn't have video today because of some camera issues, I believe. So you just get to look at me briefly. Hi. Good to see you all. Real quick, if you'd like to support the channel, we would greatly appreciate it. We have our FM training annual subscription bundles. We got a couple options here. I always tell people, because this always happens, I get a random comment, let's say, twice a month maybe, or someone will pop up and tell me, hey, these live streams are super cool. We love the community, but they're really long and they're not really about the topics I'm interested in about FileMaker, or, I struggle following along, so I'm not sure quite what's happening. This is kind of where these subscriptions are here for you. These are really short, highly animated, very entertaining videos. It's done mostly by Richard and a couple other people. I think Nick shows up in there as well about UI and shenaniganery. But basically, it covers very basics of FileMaker to very complicated parts of FileMaker and can very easily take you from being a complete beginner in the developed FileMaker platform to being an intermediate level developer. So, for people who have bought it, thank you very much. The support is greatly appreciated. Okay, I think we're good. I think I'm good. We're good. All right. Okay, Nick, what are we doing today? Intermediate and advanced relationships? What does that mean? What does that
Yeah,
entail?
I'm going to try to cover all the untold story about the relationship. That means we all know how relationship works, grossly, but we don't know all what relationship can do. I I talk a lot about relationship throughout many different topics, but it's hard to collect all the information in that fashion because you need to fetch all the topic and all the video we do in order to learn about relationship when the webinar is not entirely about that topic. So I'm going to bring into one series, I'm going to bring all the relationship story, right? So from, let's say, high beginner to super advanced experts, voodoo, whatever you want to call it. So because in FileMaker, the most powerful feature that you can find in FileMaker is relationship. And I discovered, talking to people, here, every day coming here, that I discovered that relationship is the most unknown feature pretty much. And why is because, yes, we know about the basics, we know about the principle, we know how it works. Like, for example, yeah, we know how the car works. You open the door, you sit down, you put the key, you turn the key, and it starts. We all know that, right? But if we have no clue how the engine works, you have no clue how to drive a car in a professional manner, so we don't know that, right? So the relationship is the same. There's a lot of video out there talking about relationship in a very basic manner, but we don't know the application and how we can use this and for what, right? So there's a lot of many ways you can use relationship to solve your problems, right? So, and some are completely, I'd say, crazy, right? But they're very useful and very powerful. And at the same time, very easy when you understand how it works, right? So that means, when you can, for example, you can resolve an unsolvable problem, right? That you would have tried with scripts and calculation, whatever, you'll solve it in one relationship, solved, right? But to get there, if you don't know, there's no way you can figure out, So when you are, let's say, when you're not familiar, so to understand the very expert level of the relationship, you need to know how relationship works and how you can get access to things and how you prevent the relationship to fail, etc., etc., etc. Right? So we have I don't know how long we have this series, like many weeks, right?
Yeah, I think like 12 days.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, 4 weeks. That's what it needs to get there. Okay. And I might have another one later to complete or to make more demonstrations, right? But that's what it needs to get to the level, right? So relationship is, in my everyday work, I'm using relationship for everything. So why? Because perform fine, it's slow, right? It's easier, it's there, you can, but it's slow, right? Um, Perform fine or whatever the way you want to retrieve information, right? When relationship, it's like million times faster than a perform fine, right? Because of the way it is handled, right? Relationship is the very core of FileMaker. It's deep in the engine, right? It's very deep. The relationship is very, very deep. So knowing that, knowing all the thing that when you run a FileMaker solution on server, which is 99.99% of the case, right? When you run on server, the server engine, FileMaker server optimized to the extreme limit the relationship, the way a server is handling indexes, the way a server is handling our IOs, the way a server is handling our memory access, right? Makes relationship extremely fast, right? So let's start with the very, very beginning of relationship, right? So here, so I, oops, move this, shouldn't, okay. So here we have an old relationship file that I was using before, and I'm going to reuse that file, but let's hide this for now. Let's put that there, and let's have, because that was for the other demonstration. I don't know if I'm going to use that, but I wanted to have like a clean file to, so here I have two tables, right? I have accounts, right? And I have contacts, right? So I have two tables. Relationship, right? So first, I want to dissolve the confusion between tables and relationship, right? Because our terminology in FileMaker is very important, right? And sometimes we don't use the right terminology, and FileMaker is responsible for that, right? So, and that's why I'm going to, intervene here, right? We have tables. Tables is where you put your fields, right? That's what they call that table. Table is a bucket where inside this bucket you're going to put fields, right? And a relationship, it's the interaction between two tables, right? This is the relationship. So these are tables, right? And these are relationship, but these here are not tables. Even if FileMaker says here tables, but it's a lie because these are not tables. Tables is this, okay? So they did that for convenience. They did this mistake like 25 years ago, right? And they never corrected because they didn't want to, put more confusion where we already have, right? So this is not a table. It's an occurrence. It's a gateway. It's a port of entry. It's like, it's like an airport, right? To arrive in a city, right? It is a gate to the table, but it's not the table itself, right? Proof of it, I can create occurrence, right? And get them to that table again and again and again and again. I can have all those, occurrence that point to the contact table. So this is not a table. This is an occurrence. It's a table occurrence. Okay? So this is very important to know that this is not a table. This is a table. Here you have tables, but this is not. Okay? This is occurrence. Okay. So a relationship, it's a connection, it's an interaction between two table occurrence. Okay? So I can say from one table to another. And I can say, okay, for example, from accounts, right? I'm going to create a relationship between the ID account of the contact table, right? So here, so I'm dragging this like this, right? So I'm creating a relationship between the account table, right? And the contact table and the linkage, the dialogue, the connection, the relationship between these two tables will be the ID of accounts, right? So what that means, okay, so let's create this. So what that means, so let's go to the account table, right? And let's say I want to show here all the contacts that I have based on this ID accounts, okay? So I want to show, for example, all the table, a portal with all the full names about this account, all the contacts. So here I have all the contacts, right, for RC Consulting. So that means if I copy that ID and I go to my contacts, right, and I show the ID account here, and I say perform find, and I put that ID, I will have 13 contacts, right? So I have Nick Hunter. The second one, I have Rick Carlton. The third one, I have Marge Carlton. The fourth one, I have Scott Kane. So pretty much, if I show, I need to put the view here. If I show the view here, I have all the people that I have here, right? And you can see, right? So all those are linked with the AE7FE, AE7FE accounts, okay? So this is a relationship. Now, a relationship in FileMaker is bi-directional, right? So what that means? That means the relationship will work in that direction, right? But also in that direction. Depending on which side I'm going to enter, okay? So let's see this. So let's say I'm opening this, I'm opening a new window, and I'm going here. I'm going in this contacts, right? Nick Hunter, which is the
Nick, hold
first.
on.
Yeah, yeah.
There's something happening. I'm not quite
Ah,
sure what. I want you to back up, actually, because Zoom
uh-huh.
is throwing tantrums.
Oh, do you need I to reshare?
Yeah, you know what? Just stop and reshare and then back up 2 minutes for me, please.
Yes. Do you see?
Yes.
Okay. Is that okay or everything correct?
No, okay, found what's happening. Okay, cool. There we go. We're good now. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to back up. So where do you remember where I need to back up? About?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I would say about a minute, so not very far.
Okay, so here I look for the account here. I copy these IDs, right? This ID of accounts. I'm going to contact, and I'm going to
Never
find.
mind. Hold on. People are telling me you need to back up to right where the portal was created. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So that's a lot of thing. Okay, so let's create the. So I'm here. So I have this relationship between accounts and contacts through with the ID of account. They both have a field where I have an ID in each field. In this one, I have an ID, and in this one, I have an ID as well. And this relationship, we connect the dots between two tables, and I'm going from that account record, I'm going to show all the contacts that are connected. Let's say full name, okay, with that ID. All these contacts, so if I'm going there, right, and if I'm going there in the contact, I copy that ID, I'm going to contact, and I'm going here, I'm pasting in the fields, in the field where I have the ID, I find all the contacts that the relationship showed me. So you see, you can achieve with relationship what a perform find is capable of doing. Okay. But that also means that relationship is capable of doing what perform find doing, right? In a much faster manner. So I'm here, I have the same number of records, related record that contacts relate to that account, right? And they're all showing the same order, right? I'm going to get there later, right? And what I was saying is that how a FileMaker relationship is working. Well, it's working in both directions. From here, I can see the related record here, but also, right, from here, I can see the related record like this. So depending on which side we are, we sit, right? So, and this, it's named a context. From which context I am entering the relationship. Do I enter the relationship from here or from here? I will have a different results. So for example, so let's clear everything and go back here. If I go to the contacts, I'm this one. And I want to show here all the accounts that are related to that contact. I have this one. So I'm showing the accounts. From the account, I'm showing all the records that are related to these accounts, to all the contact related to that account. And from that account, from that contact, I'm going to see the accounts it is related to. So it's working on both sides, from both sides, depending on where we start. This layout starts from that occurrence. Okay. This one is, I'm entering from contact. So I'm entering from here. So if I use the relationship, I'm going there, right? I'm showing this. That's why from here, I'm showing the only related table, right? The only related occurrence should be the right terminology. The, 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 the only related occurrence, table occurrence, right, is the accounts. That the only one related to that contact occurrence, right? When I'm going here, from here, I have only one occurrence. That's why this menu shows me only one. When I'm here, from that, this layout is showing from starting from accounts. So I'm starting from here. Okay. So obviously, which related table occurrence will I see in the menu? This one, right? So if I'm going there, the only one related is contact. From account, I'm showing contact. From contact, I'm showing account, right? This is how it works. But that the power is working on both sides automatically, right? So that is the power of relationship. The first level, let's say that the entry level of the power, right? So do we have any question for that level?
Questions, concerns, comments, everybody? This kind of like everyone following along. I'm going to say that we're following along for the moment, but when we are not, I will let you know, Nick.
Okay. So other thing that I want to cover here, okay? We have different types of relationship in FileMaker. Something we don't really have controls, okay? But we can learn and use that as well, even though it's not the most important thing to know, but it's great to know. We have the one-to-many relationship, or many-to-one in that case. In that order, in that direction, it's one to many. We call that character. Can I hold on? We call that. Okay, I need to do this. Oh, here, this we call that the cow fit. Okay, because it looks like a cow fit. Okay. So this, when you see this, this means many. This means 1, 2, 3, right? It means many. When you hear, right, it means one. Okay. So, and that FileMaker knows it, right? It knows this. This is one too many, right? So how he knows that, right? Well, that's easy for FileMaker. There's only one record with that ID. Here, there's 13 records with that ID. So he knows, right, that this is one too many relationship. Of course, when we go to that direction, from here to here, we know this is a many to one. Of course, we can also have many to many. That's possible as well. Okay, so let me take one. So now I have two record with this here, and yeah, it didn't come here. I don't know why it's not doing. It should have done this because I have, it's many to many now because I have multiple with the same ID, right? But this is a many to many. I don't know. Maybe I need to restart the the thing here. But this is a many to many now because I have 2 here and 1 here, right? And 2 here and 13 here, right? So it should, but it's anyway. So we have many to many, 1 to many to 1, right? And then we have another one that I'm going to come later to this, right? So, but this is not really important is not really something that can help to diagnose a performance issue. It could, you know, but something I'm going to come later when I'm going to cover all the performance issue and the problem you will have with FileMaker. So I will cover that for you. So still no questions? Marge?
We are, yeah, I think people are continuing to follow along. Yeah, people are still following
Yeah,
along. I don't see any
yeah.
questions, so you're good.
Oh, yeah. So this is a very basic one. That a basic interaction with the relationship. Right? So now we have this is very simple relationship, but let's make it a little bit more complicated. Okay. So relationship we can have more advanced relationship. For example, okay, I'm going to modify this relationship, right? And I'm going to make it with multiple predicates. Okay, so this is where things start to be hairy a little bit. What is a predicate? A predicate is the relationship itself, it's what is the relationship? What should be the relationship? Here, for example, it says the ID account here must be equal to the data inside this field. Should be equal, perfectly equal, not partial, right? Not almost. It has to be equal. This equal sign. Okay. So that means if I'm come here and I do a slight change, I put a B here, right? Instead of A, this guy here, we go away, both. Because this is no longer equal to this, right? Even if I remove the letter completely, like it's partially good, right? It's missing the A. Well, doesn't matter. It has to be equal. See, I put back the A, bam, it's coming back, right? So it has to be equal, neither partial, right? So, and that's important because I cannot go and do what we call a loose search, like we can do with with the search, with the search. I have this ability to do like a loose, right? Like I can do this and put this, for example, and still find it. He found the A, even though, let's do it again. I'm going there, I remove the A, I put this here. He found the A, he found the 13, right? Even though I ask, but I put this magic character here, right? In the search, right? In the search, I have this, right? So I can't do this with relationship. This is the, let's say it's the forte of the search, right? But that's a cost when you do this performance. It's extremely slow. Not saying that it will be slow if you do a search on 10 record, 20, 200, even 10,000, even 500,000. But if you start doing this with 10 million records, you can go and have a cup of coffee, right? So that's a cost, which, but so we cannot have everything, right? So but this is the difference between the search and the relationship, is that relationship must be equal. Okay. So let's change the relationship. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to change the relationship. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to say, I want a relationship here. Um, uh, yeah, but I lost something. So before to do this, I need to show you something that I skipped a step in my demonstration. Sorry for that. Right. The next step is that we can do relationship between different type of fields, right? I can do a relationship between a field like this, which is a number, right? It's an ID. It goes to the contacts, this one. Here is a text, but whatever, doesn't matter, right? It will work. Even this is a text and this is a number. That works, right? I'm going to tell you in the future how this could be an issue, okay? But here's not. So I have this field, it's a normal field, and here it's another normal field. But I can also have a relationship between a global field and a normal field and a data field, right? Global and data. I can do that as well, okay? So first, we need to know what a global field is, right? A global field, uh, so I'm creating one. Oh, yeah, but not here. Not in this here. A global field, you set the global field here in storage and you say use global value, right? So it says one value for all records, okay? That means if I here, I am in accounts, right? And I'm putting my global field here. Oops. Right? And I'm showing this as a table. So I'm going to this, show all. So I have my four record here. If I put Nick here, all the record has Nick. So all records will have this. If I change this, it changes. I cannot have a different data here and here. It's impossible, right? So that's a global field. A global field, you enter something and it's accessible from every single record you in this table. Okay. Also, when you are on a server, right? If I am connected to I am connected to the file and I put merge here, right? And if somebody else in the server connect to the same file and put Nick in that field, he won't see that I have put merge and I won't see what he has put. What I put is for myself only, and what he puts is for himself only. It's not shared. When you put something in the global field, it's for you only. Also, when you quit and you close the file, everything in that field gets wiped out. You lose it. You don't keep it when you're on server. That is a global field, right? So, of course, global fields can be involved in a relationship, right? Correct? But in only one way, okay? And global fields are perfect if I want to use relationship on the fly. So I put a name in a global field, right? I tapped it, and I have a relationship connected to that field, and then I get the results. So I'm going to show you this now before we go to the question. Okay. So I'm going to change, right? I'm going to change the relationship, this one, and I'm going to do a relationship between this global field contact name, right, with the full name of that table. So in account, I have a global field. That means a field where I can put whatever I want that related to that table, to the full name of every single record of that table. So I changed it, right? So here, I'm going to put Hunter, for example, and it doesn't show anything. Why? I should have. Is that a global? I mean, global, yeah, it's global. Full name. Do I have something in the full name here? Maybe I have nothing in the full name. Yeah, I have something. Oh, yeah, but full name, I don't have. Why in full name? I don't have the last name as well. Okay, so let's fix this. Last name. That's funny though. Full name, substitute, first name, last name. Well, oh, okay. Let's change this. Must be this. Okay, replace with last name. Place. Still doesn't want. Okay, so I have no, I have no. Oh, I'm first name here. What the heck? Full name. Sorry. And nobody saw it. But still, why does? Oh, because it need to be the same. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, okay, sorry. Not full name. I'm going to do last name. Not full name. Last name. Yeah. Okay. Contact name, last name. Okay. So I'm going to put, I put Hunter here and all the Hunter come here, right? If I put Carlton, that Carlton. So I can put Hunter, right? And I put Carlton, correct? So the
Mm-hmm.
relationship now, I can put whatever I want here, right? If it match record on the other side, if I put Kane, I will have one record, right? Carlton, oops, boom, Hunter, boom, right? So you see the point here, okay? Correct? So I can drive a relationship on the fly thanks to a global, right? So yes, I can have a relationship between a static, a regular field like this, right? I can have this, but also I can have this, okay? Now, let's make a little bit more spicy. I want a relationship with two predicates, not only one, but I want two. I want to add the city in the mist, right? A global. And I'm going to add these fields into the mist. So Now I have 2. So what that means? That means that if I want a result, I need this to match this and this to match this, but on the same record. Let me explain. So this is important what we do here, right? That's why you need to bear with me. I have 2 predicate here. I have my 2 predicate here, right? So let's put them in red to make them stand out. So now it's not working because something is missing here, right? Yeah, but city I have none. I should have said country. Sorry for that. I have no city in the data. So let's say country instead, which is the same thing. Change here, instead of city, I'm saying country. Okay. So now here in my contacts, right? I have the last name, right? And I have different city, different country. So let's say let's say Colombia, and let's say one we can say USA, another one Canada, and another one Lebanon. Well, this is pretty much all the country I lived in. Okay, right? And I can have multiple of those, and I have like and another Canada. Okay, so I'm here. I have multiple. Okay, so let's say I put Hunter here, right? And I put I don't know, Mexico. Nothing happened. Okay, why? Is because I don't have Hunter in Mexico, but I have Hunter in Greece. I have 2, right? Let's see Hunter. I have this one in Greece and this one in Greece. I have 2, right? Now, if I say France, I have 1, but it's not Nick, it's Daniel, because I said Hunter, but I didn't specify the first name. So he found all the hunters, and then he said which one is Hunter here and France here. So that means it's not like I want all the hunters and all the friends. Whatever, if they are connected together, that means this and this together, the record, those and this in the same record must match. You understand what I mean? Did you get that? On the same record, both fields in the predicate must match in the same record. I need to have in the record, I need to have the name and the country that match what I ask here. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
So it is not this. It is not this. Like research, it is not this. Like looking for contact last name Hunter and country Greece. This is not the same. Look the results. It's not the same. He found all the hunters and all the Greece. Whatever if this match here, it shows this. So it would have been like something like this. last name, Hunter, and country. This is not the same. So if I do this here, the result will be 2. Only 2 has this and this in common. This here is not the same. This says, okay, I want all the Hunter and all the Greece. Not the same result at all. So this result with this, I'm not saying it's impossible. It is, and that's why we're here, but I'm going to show you that later. But I want to show you the principle, how this works. Okay? If one of those fails, everything fails. If I do this, for example, poof, it fails completely because there's no green in here. It needs to match perfectly. And if one is empty, that's important. One is empty, everything fails. It doesn't care. I mean, it doesn't care. It's not going to say, okay, you don't care about the name, so I'm looking for Greece only. No. Empty relationship cannot work. Okay? So before we go to the question, I wanted to mention something. I told you that globals could be used in a relationship in only one direction. From this direction to this direction. Like this. That means I'm here, I put my data here, and I'm collecting the data from this content, from this table here in the portal. This works, okay? But from this here to here, it won't work. That means if I go here, right? So this one is Hunter Greece, right? So this one should work, okay? This one should work, but it doesn't, right? I mean, it does. It shows me all the records.
Mm-hmm.
It shows me all the records. Why? See, I have 4 records here. If I add a new one, well, it will show here. If I add another one, well, it will show here too, right? Why? Is because all the record here shows Hunter and Greece, but it shows me all the records in that relationship. So I'm here, right? I'm in this table and I'm going to show in that direction, right? So I am in contacts and I'm showing, so, and why it works, because this record has Hunter and Greece. If I'm going to another one, it shows all, because the relationship is pretty much like disabled, because it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work. So, I mean, it works. It shows you all the records. So pretty much you will see all the records from that table to that table, right? Because this is a group. So pretty much it's useless. I mean, I don't see any interest to do that, right? Because it will always show something. If one of these is empty, well, still, see, doesn't care. It shows all. It shows all the record from that, right? Because it's global. So it pretty much, you know, you understand that? So if we have question, And if we
We do
have,
have questions.
yeah, precision, clarifications,
Uh, should activate a unique field? Question mark.
what?
David, do you want to
Uh,
clarify that one? Go.
yeah, I think I understand that. No,
Oh, okay.
I don't have a unique is there's no yeah, I know why, it's about the one to many, right?
Yes, I think
It,
so.
yeah, no, it doesn't matter. It's not this. It doesn't matter. You know. So this here, it's the symbol when you have a global field involved. Okay, correct? So many,
Oh, he wants to know if it's a bad practice or a good practice.
this,
Yes.
oh, that's the excellent practice. But from one direction, yes, I'm using that like a drug addict, right? Living in Folsom Street, California, right? So it's the basic of the advanced relationships method, you know, using globals, right? And feed them on the fly and get the result you want, right? Of course, it is a good practice for something you need, right? I mean, if you want all the record related to that account, well, you need to switch back to to that relationship, this one, right? You need to switch back to this, right? So this relationship we have here. So do we have another question?
Yes.
Mhm.
Since only the first 100 characters text field are indexed, will the relationship ignore characters over 100, meaning you can get records you do not want?
Get record you don't. uh, can you rephrase or
I can send the question to you in Slack if
yeah?
that might make it easier. Let me give me a second. Nick Hunter, paste.
Will the relationship ignore character over 100, meaning you can get record you do not want, either index limits or numeric system? Uh, yeah, yeah, no. I mean, you won't get them. I think. Yeah, this is something we can try. So the meaning, um, index is only the first 100 characters. Um, and you know, I never run that problem. So I explain you why. Okay, so let me explain. You need to have. It's a good question, by the way. Okay, that allow me to explain what you shouldn't do. Okay, so let's say you want to look for a field, and you have like a 400-page book in one field, which is okay, right? And you want to use that field as a relationship, right? In a relationship to match well, this is a very bad practice because will explode your memory pretty much. Okay. We never use relationship in that fashion. Okay. That's why I always use relationship using IDs. Could be UUID number, could be UUID normal, or could be serial number if you want to go there. Could be a first name, last name, country, city, or could be something like this. A status, it could be whatever you want. But in a relationship, the shorter your your fields involved in the predicates. Less data you have here, the best is. And if you want to increase the performance, use UUID numbers because they're much simpler to index than letters. That's why FileMaker has this UUID number here. It's because it's much faster to index than text. The relationship is based on index. Something that you cannot index won't work. I think in that case, if you exceed the limits, the record won't be there. I think it will be ignored. I think. Or as you said, get all the record with this first, characters indexed. Okay. And that is part of this webinar. I'm going to show you the best practice as well. So we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about the UUID number. We're going to talk about the UUID. We're going to talk about issues that you can get using names, right? But because you can get problem with this as well. Okay. So names, statuses, but on words, statuses on words, right? So you can have problem with this. You can have problem when you use words, you can have problems. That's why as much as possible, I am switching to an ID system and not using words, right? To avoid problems, right? So that is part of everything I'm going to explain when you get into the relationship world, right? That is exactly what I'm going to explain. So I never run into that problem, never ever using extensively the relationship. But of course, when you start using the relationship in a very advanced way, that means you need to learn how to get the architecture that fits, right, this methodology, right? You cannot build, I don't know, a Greek temple, right, with the pyramid technology. It's not possible. Neither you can build a pyramid with the Greek temple technology. It's not possible. It's not fit. Doesn't fit. So you need to come when you use relationship. You need to come with the architecture that fits that technique, right? You cannot just do whatever you want, right? And use relationship instead of finds, right? For example, or use relationship to avoid craziness, right? So you need to bring the architecture, the foundation, right, in order to use that technique. So the way the predicate you use here is the content of the data you're going to use is very, very important, and you cannot use crazy text here, right? It's too much. FileMaker will handle it, but you can go and not one coffee, but a jar of coffee, you can drink because it's slow, right? You slow down, but we have method to prevent that to happen. Okay. Other question?
Not any that I see at the moment.
Okay.
So
So we saw the global how the global react, right? So we know that in that way, well, doesn't make any sense. You have all the records. Here it makes all sense, right? So of course, and that we're going to talk tomorrow, you can mix both global and not global, right? For example, I can show you right now, then it's done. So let's say, I want the account name. I want the current record account name right? Of the current account record. So it's no longer global. That the account name of the current account I am in, right? Or let's say the account ID is better. So I'm in the account ID. So, and I'm going to add which country I want. For example, here, for this here, I say Greece. I have two people with this account, right? With this account, I have two people in Greece. This is all the people, all the contact for this account, right? RC Consulting, RC Consult, they're all RC Consulting related with this ID, AE7E, AE7E, right? 7F, right? So they're all those 13, but I have only two in Greece. Let's say, Lebanon, I have two also. Let's say California. I have two, Rick and March, from that account. If I'm going to another record, well, it's not the same, right? This is only for because I'm going. So you have a mix of, for these accounts, this is frozen. This is the real data, and I have a global field in the relationship, and I can put whatever I want, right? Of course, since we're there, then we can advance that, but I'm going to come back tomorrow on this. Here, the power of relationship, and we're going to explore that tomorrow more, but I'm going to show you. Well, I want France, I have one. I want Lebanon and Greece. So for these accounts, okay, I said I want the people in France and the people in Lebanon and the people in Greece. So this is where the relationship gets extremely powerful, right? Do that with this, with the perform find. With the perform find, but on the fly. Not saying that you go there and you say find record Greece, right? And duplicate and say find record Lebanon, right? And duplicate and find record France. Yeah, you can do that, right? You can do. Yeah, but it's frozen. It's there. It's hard coded in the scripts. I don't want this. No, I want to add a new. I want to change this guy. It's not in Lebanon anymore. This guy is in I don't know, in Peru, right? Right. So okay, boom, bam. I'm going to got Peru here. Boom, it's back. I'm not saying hard coded here, right? No, it's not the same at all. Because this is hard coded. Hard coded. If you want to do the same thing here, you need to come and go to the crazy freaking loop that is like, if you want to do, that's exactly what this is doing. In the scripts, you cannot do it under 30 line script, you cannot do it. And do you think that's faster than this? This is out of the box. I did nothing. I create a global fields and I put my data in. That's it. And the relationship is doing all the job for me. Something that this guy, you need like 30 line scripts in order to get something that works. Right? I'm saying not hard coded, right? Remember this? Right? Don't cheat. Try it at home, Try it at home and come back. Not cheating, huh? Not hard coding. This one, yeah, everybody's capable of doing this, you know. So, but this we're going to come tomorrow because this is where relationships start to be very powerful. When you start to mix things like this, when you start to mix like global with data and stuff like this, right? And you can do that on the other side as well, right? And you can start building your own fields that you only use for the relationship, right? So that means you have fields that feeds with data in the record, but you make them that you can take advantage using that field within the relationship, right? That gives you another dimension, right? So all of this we're going to check tomorrow. So if you have the question, do we have any question? If I can answer fast.
We have a question, but I don't think it's a fast one. So I will save that for tomorrow.
Okay, all right. So keep it for tomorrow, and keep the file here. I'm going to. Do you want me to send the file, or we
Yeah,
wait?
go ahead, send it to the
Okay,
file to me, and I'll
okay,
update it as we trot our way along.
yeah. Okay, so I'm going to name it day one, right?
Yeah,
And then every day, right?
works
Correct.
for me. Yep.
Okay, so going
Thank you,
to work.
Nick.
Okay, so tomorrow, same time, same place.
Same time, same place. Hopefully less technical issues.
No problem.
Thank you,
Okay,
everybody.
thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.